Hey everyone, I'm Boater.
And I'm Chris.
And, I don't know, let's cook something. I'm good at making that awkward.
You really are. Today we're making pork marsala.
Ingredient board, what are we going to need for this stuff?
Flour. Seasoned salt.
She got duct tape for everything.
Tape.
Garlic powder. Pepper.
That's a store brand, I don't need to hide that, right?
It's generic.
Pork loin or cutlets.
And wash hands.
He's a regular viewer, so he knows, well, that, and he cooks more than I do. He knows the drill.
2 tablespoons butter.
In the fridge?
2 packages of baby bella mushrooms.
We've got 2 10-ounce packages here, but basically however many you want. Actually, a lot of the amounts in here, you see there isn't actually amounts, will tell you how much we're putting in each time. It'll change after you make it once.
Yeah, I come from a line of cooks that doesn't measure anything, so...
A pinch, a bit.
Yeah, until it tastes good.
Yeah, to taste will kind of be the operative word on this one.
And you want, even though it looks like a lot of mushrooms, they're going to cook down quite a bit.
1 cup Marsala wine.
Marsala wine.
4 ounces of half and half. Half a can of beef broth. 1 teaspoon tomato paste.
Not sauce, paste.
We're going to be using very little amounts to get the smallest can that you can get.
Rice, chicken broth.
I can see that going all over.
I want to push it. While I'm cutting the meat here, which I'll show you in a second, Boater is going to be making our dredge, which is what you will be rolling this in before you start frying it. Now, when you're cutting a pork loin, you don't want to cut straight down, or you can get very, very small pieces of pork. So what you want to do is cut at an angle. For every person, I'm going to cook 3 of these. We have 3 people, so it'll be 9 pieces of this. Not too thin, not too thick, because you want them all to cook evenly when you're doing it. Yeah, I'm going to need that other knife Boater.
I don't like you having sharp objects behind my back.
I'm not going to throw it at you.
You promise?
Yes.
Were there crossed fingers?
Huh? Yes.
It won't be until after the show, don't worry. I like my sous chefs more than that.
Yay. I'm valuable at the moment.
And the fat kind of cuts off as you do it. If not, then you have to cut this off.
I like having this here. Thank you, freezer.
The knife is getting really gooky from all the fat, so I have this to wipe it on. Of course, don't wipe with your hands after you're done with this. You want to put it in the laundry or something.
Yeah, much like how a meat cutting board would go straight into the dishwasher.
Exactly. And that'll be the last piece. Now still with all my nice neat hands, I'm going to put this back in the sink.
And at the same time, I'm just finishing up here with a itty bitty quarter teaspoon.
I can switch to a small knife and cut off all the fat.
Quarter teaspoon kind of goes further than you think it would. Yeah, I'll keep those in case we need them again, and I'll just get another spoon to mix this all up.
Of course, if you don't want to do all this work, you can always buy deboned pork chops.
Which, as we've covered before, I'm lazy, so that's what I would normally do, but this is a nice treat.
And of course, you can always substitute this with chicken, or... No, that's all that other tastes good with marsala.
Veal?
You could do veal. That's expensive.
Yes, it is. Alright, I've got your dredge ready for you.
Now you're going to coat the bottom of the pan in oil,
Yes.
so I can fry it.
You want medium heat?
Medium low.
Medium low?
Otherwise, you might burn your sauce when you start making it. And you really don't want to burn this.
Yeah, no.
Especially when you're using alcohol, it might start a fire.
That's not a good thing.
Where's your fire extinguisher?
Fire extinguisher? Down the road with the fire engines.
They're on call, right?
We should let them know whenever I'm doing an episode.
The trick to knowing when your oil is ready is if you look at the top of it, it kind of shimmers. Or you take a little bit of water, like a single drop, and toss it into there. And if it pops, it's ready.
That's good to know.
Don't do too much water or you will ruin the oil.
Could also be dangerous.
Don't put your face over it when you do that.
Let me see if it's shimmering.
Oh yeah.
And here's a cup of water.
Oh, look at that. Convenient. Look how convenient that is back there.
Yay. I should do that more often.
Boater is going to graciously cut all of these mushrooms. About 1/4 of an inch thick. Otherwise they'll cook down to nothing, as I said before. Yeah, it's about good. Now I like the stems. Some people take them and pop them out like that.
I like the stems as well. Steph doesn't get input. She will simply be eating around them Because you can't have marsala without mushrooms, am I right?
Yeah, but the sauce still tastes good without the mushrooms.
It's not the same. There's still essence of mushrooms in there, though.
And
Same.
but there's also alcohol.
Alcohol makes everything better.
Yes. Like this show, for instance. Oh wait.
Wrong show.
Hannah Hart did that already.
And what are you doing while I work on these?
I am still waiting for the oil to go, but when that is ready to go, I will start dredging the chicken, the pork, rather.
You're not sure what animal we're cooking today.
It's white meat, it's fine. I'll be doing that with the fork, so I don't have to touch that anymore. Take a single piece, make sure it's all nice and coated in the flour, both sides. And when it's ready, I'll start tossing them in 3 at a time. This is now ready. I'm going to test it with the pop though, so you can hear what it sounds like. 1 drop of water from your finger, toss it. Alright, try this again.
Okay, so we can see it shimmering.
It's not popping though. I think it's because you have an unbalanced.
Yeah, it's the stove's a little.
It's a little deep. Show
Anyway,
another time.
It's shimmering. It's ready. Trust us on this. It's
There.
if you look at a sharp line, or something like the dark and light, you can kind of see it going all wavy. So that's what you're looking for.
This should pop though. This is getting ready, and since we only have a few batches to do, I'm going to start the rice. You'll need a can of chicken broth because I like it. It goes in the rice, makes it taste really good. And since we're making 3 cups of rice, we're going to need 3 cups of water, even amounts. But since I substituted 1 of those cups with the chicken broth, you're going to need 2 cups of water. And we turn it too hot. So these are getting done. So it takes 2 to 3 minutes for the first side and 1 to 2 minutes for the second side, depending on how thick you cut it. When it comes out, it should have a nice golden edge around it.
That's pretty.
Isn't it?
I don't want to eat it right now. I'm impatient.
I forgot it, but if you want to have a little bit less oil on it, put it on paper towels.
Me, I don't mind it too much. Then you can drink the grease afterward. We went over this, I think.
Grease is good, right?
Yeah, I've been corrected. Grease is fine. Just like everything, in moderation. Again, when you put it in the oil, not towards you.
Good reminder. So I almost burnt this one. That's what happens when you get flour too hot and not in oil.
And the mushrooms are done.
Yay, mushrooms! We're going to slice this because when I make my roux, I dredge them in the same thing that we have here. Just to make sure there's enough of a base for the sauce. Flipping for the last time. Now I'm making my roux, which I put my nice slices of butter into the flour. And you can just do this with your hand, but you will have to wash your hands since this is where the pork was. I'm going to let you put this in, Motor, when that's done.
Yeah, I get to do something. I'm going to have to leave for a second. I need to blow my nose and then wash hands.
You need an assistant to blow your nose for you.
No.
Oh, look at that nice brown butter. Now I look at my pan, see that probably a little bit too much oil in it, and you don't want an oily sauce for this. I'm going to use boater shrimp, which I did learn something from you, is this.
Yay! I help.
So when doing this,
Dripping.
be careful you're not taking out the nice brown stuff, because that's what makes your sauce so tasty.
Alright, so keeping kind of the essence, more or less, of the pork itself in there, while getting rid of the excess moisture. Cool.
Actually more of the flour and all that seasoning we put in there.
Oh, okay, so that's what's kind of left over.
Yep, which is also why we don't make it too hot, because we don't want all that burned. As I measure this out. Are you having trouble finding the butter in there?
Yes, I think that's all of it.
Now, putting the rice in. 2 starters. 1 for the rice, 1 for this. Multitasking.
Now rub your belly and pat your head.
And of course, turning this off and putting the lid on, which will cook very nicely. Now we put the mushrooms in, not pouring them in, because you don't want this splashing all over the place right now. Make sure we coat all the nice mushrooms in that nice brown stuff.
I'm observing.
Ready.
Alright, so just noting we're actually up to about 4 tablespoons of butter used so far.
It's because we had so many mushrooms. Right, so now we get to the fun part, the marsala,
Yay!
which I'm going to add a little bit more than the ingredient board said. Sorry, ingredient board.
You bastard.
It says a cup, which is approximately half of the bottle.
Yeah,
That's 2 cups there. You'll add however much you want.
that's a little bit more than half. You want this to boil away as much as possible, because you don't want to be drinking the sauce. So stir. Ooh, want to get drunk off the steam? I just got big with alcohol. And we'll have beef broth for nice flavor. If it gets too thick, this is what you use to thin it out. That's why you start with only half a can. just smell like alcohol right now.
It just smells good.
One thing Italians can do is whenever we're cooking, it smells delicious. You know, if I was
So many
feeling a
spices.
lot more frisky, I would have made you the greens. That's frisky cooking.
I'm not interested in frisky cooking with Chris. In fact, I'm generally not interested in frisky cooking at all.
As Boater listlessly.
That's why that's wistfully.
I'm still expecting a carrot to come flying at us.
Oh, no, she's actually sitting
Your fault.
on
Golf clap. No,
The-
golf clap.
the AC adapter for the camera. Is sitting on the power brick. That was stellar. That was amazing.
I think that's cooked off enough. So, now that we've reduced the wine, we're gonna add a little bit of beef broth. Not that much, because this is it's pretty watery right now.
And starting with maybe a quarter of a can, if that.
Half and half, which you can substitute 2%, 1% milk, probably not skim, or cream. I split the difference, so I went with half and half, which will also serve to thicken this up and mellow the taste. Feel about how much?
Probably about a third of this one in. Just over the half cup mentioned.
So what's the math on that? If you have a third, you have half and half.
You've got
Lastly, tomato paste, which will really thicken it up. I start off with something like this big. I once added a bunch and it didn't taste that good. Stir that up really good. Want to go down?
This is creepy. I'll just lean over and sniff.
Not my hair, the sauce.
Oh.
You know, you have good sauce. Take a little bit in the spoon, blow on it, and eat. It is pretty good.
Make sure you blow on it first because you don't want to burn your mouth because you actually want to taste the completed dish and not just the taste of the sauce and then it's like, well, I'm done. My mouth tastes like rubber. That's also known as Hot Pocket Syndrome.
Hot Pocket syndrome.
HPS is terrible.
That's probably an interesting Butter to cook something. Butter cooks a Hot Pocket.
Butter eats a Hot Pocket I think would be more instructional and useful.
Now, when serving it, just put the pork or chicken or veal or any other type of meat that you want to experiment with.
I wonder how,
To
like...
coat it.
Sorry. I'm idly wondering, it's like, how would a hamburger taste in marsala sauce and then served on the bun like a hamburger or whatever?
I don't think you do this step. Then you just take it on the bun
Yeah.
and then pour the marsala over it.
You'd have a
Yeah.
soggy bun.
It would be a soggy bun. Unless you crisp the bun first.
Still be a soggy bun.
Move around, make sure everything's nice and coated, which is just not being nice because we have a little bit more mushrooms than I thought I would. You know, but since, you know, Steph likes mushrooms so much.
Hooray!
Serving this, take your rice, get all nice and even like that.
Even that smells good with, since it had some of the chicken broth in it.
Yeah, see, that's why you add it. Don't use bouillon cubes for your rice. They find it tastes way too salty if you did do it. Now, a nice piece with mushrooms on it.
Couple extra mushrooms because we've got them.
We'll add that with
A
this.
spoon.
Drizzle your mushrooms and sauce on top to get that rice nice and marsala-y. And there you have our dinner.
Cool. Alright, let's take this and chow down. So this was pork marsala, which, oh my god, it came out great. Like we said, can be done with chicken, veal. Welcome to experiment with other stuff as well. But yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for cooking. And I'll see you guys next time. You'll be visiting for the final episode as well. Because I recorded you. I recorded, hey look, here's people having a good time.
Oh yes. Is it gas range?
It's electric.
And we'll see you there as well. Lack of catchphrase.
Better than one of my friends. He doesn't own a refrigerator or a microwave in his office. So he buys Hot Pockets, puts them in his back pocket, sits on it all day long until lunch, and then eats it. Because by then it's all nice and warm.
Squish.
Butt pocket!
Yeah,
Hot Pockets!
It sounded way too cheery.
But that's the song.
At least
That's the Hot Pocket jingle.
At least she didn't say ass pocket.
Ugh. That's something else entirely.
Shudder.